We're back talking about Extreme Robots at long last. Here we missed the June event, but here we are in September. We're talking about everything that happened at Extreme Robots in Colchester over there. 3 shows. We had an Extreme Robots heavyweight title match, 3 team competitions, a #1 contender tournament, and as expected, Team Invade, Team Inferno dominating the competition still. We're going to be talking about all this next here on this TCC live event rundown.
Enough energy to get in the flip on Combot. We're going to go all the way. Oh my God! That's going to hurt. Grab the milk, Kenny.
Welcome to the Combot Collective.
Hello everybody and welcome to yet another live event rundown episode here at the Combot Collective, bringing everything you want to know from the world of robot combat, from the heavyweight class to the flyweight class, from battle bots to the live circuit. Just a couple episodes ago here at the Combot Collective, we talked about robots live in Stoke, an exciting competition where we saw surprise finals where we had mAlice versus Tectonic, 2 robots that are here during this episode, but we also had some other interesting events happen. We saw Gabriel go completely winless. We saw Eruption take its first losses of the year. And we even saw some new robots debut in the heavyweight class like Domino, like F7, like Gibril. So that was a very notable episode, but here we go talking about more Extreme Robots here, and we actually have some fight results for once. Not the full thing, but you know, we gotta take what we can get here. Yeah, we're a little bit more in depth here for this Extreme Robots rundown episode. But of course, as always, I am your host, Sterling Brown, bringing you everything we know about the Extreme Robots Colchester event happening during early mid-September. 3 events over 2 days, like I said at the top of the video. So here we go. Let's not waste too much time and let's talk about this live event. And you know, we fell a little bit too behind the June Kettleham Extreme Robots event to cover it properly, but over those 3 events a couple months ago, here's a quick gist of everything that went down. Zadkiel destroyed AfterShock, Ripper defended its title versus Donald Thump, and Team Inferno dominated that summer weekend by winning all 3 event shows. We would see Eruption reportedly go undefeated at this event, while Ignition would seriously impress, leaving the Extreme Robots standings broken wide open at Team Quake with 1 win, Team Divinity with 1 win, and Team Inferno with 4 wins as Extreme Robots march forward to Colchester here. Ignition's impressive weekend was also honored, as just over a month ago on Reactivate, Extreme Robots CEO Glenn Joseph Robinson would announce that Ripper's second event will be versus none other than Team Invade's front hinge flipper for its second Extreme Robots title defense in Colchester. This matchup rallied up some serious fan intrigue across the Extreme Robots community and in various other places online, as it was a true battle between 2 top-tier teams in Team Invade and Team Extreme Robots, the 2019 FRA UK Championship holders and the Robot Wars Series 10 Championship holders versus the Extreme Robots Heavyweight Championship holders, the guys who pretty much own the whole house here. And like I said, Invader of front hinge versus Ripper's rear hinge for the heavyweight title to close out an exciting weekend in Colchester. Something we'll be covering at the end of the episode, but Extreme Robots would also not wait long to crown a new #1 contender for Maidstone in October, as a majority of that 3rd show will be dedicated to a mini tournament to find our next challenger, something we will also discuss later. Another change which will be made to this Colchester event will be a new style of fight in every show's finale matchup, which would give the team doing better at that show a little bit of an advantage, with the brand new gladiator battles. In this new finale fight, 3 teams get to pick 1 robot to enter the arena, as the #2 and #3 performing teams during that show would start inside the arena and fight for 2 minutes before the #1 robot enters the arena fresh and ready to go. A little bit of a House Robot Rebellion Royal Rumble gauntlet match style here, as the fight continues for 3 more minutes. These gladiator fights were set to debut at Colchester, meaning 9 gladiator fights set for the 9 shows and 3 stops left on the Extreme Robots 2022 calendar. This being the first of these 3 stops, let's talk about these rosters so far for Team Inferno, Divinity, and Quake entering this Colchester event. Starting with the big leaders of Team Inferno, we of course have Michael Oates, who sits at the top of the sport and certainly in the top of Europe with Ignition and Eruption. But after those 2 main guys, the team also has veteran and rookie experience with the flippers Beast and Troublemaker. But perhaps the story for Team Inferno is the acquisition of Ripper, the Extreme Robots heavyweight champion, who was on Team Quake during our last event in June, which means no matter what, Team Inferno would leave Extreme Robots holding that heavyweight title strap. In the Team Saint-led Team Divinity, of course, we have the Callias family holding the struggling Gabriel and the red-hot ace of the team, Zadkiel, present as expected. And they're joined by the consistent and powerful crew of Team Ironaw with Ironaw 5, Ironaw 8, and the former FRA UK champion, Ironaw 6. Only 2 crews, but a fairly stacked team, all things considered. And finally, we have Team Quake, led by the loaded team of Will Thomas's Team Shock. This crew has quite a few robots like Lifters and Thunderchild, Mega Mouse, Weird Malice, and the Irish robot Dozer, along with former Extreme Robots title contender Donald Thump. But talking about our captain robots here, we knew Manta and Robots Live Stoke winner Tectonic would be present, but the big rumor heading to Extreme Robots Colchester was if AfterShock was even going to be ready for this event. The damages it took from Zadkiel during that final Kathlehem show were enough to make Will Thomas legitimately think about retiring the robot, but ultimately AfterShock would be present for Colchester, rocking an all-blue paint job and a desire for a vengeance. It would certainly get a chance, as we'll be talking about here in a moment, but we also had 2 odd spinners which were just sort of there, kind of like Apex and May. As friend of TCC and top tier info guy Team ULL's Deadbod will be present with the spinner setup this time. We didn't see it at Robots Live, of course, in our last video. And we also have Gabriel Stroud spinner Sabertooth, but no footage of it yet competing, so it is unknown whether this is the classic Drumbot Sabertooth from Robot Wars or the Sabertooth intended for BattleBots 2021, which of course was a painted version of Rhino from King of Bots. So that's all the robots, 20 heavyweights in all, as these 3 teams set off. And let's take a look at these results. Like I said, this time Extreme Robots provided a day-by-day result of each fight they hosted. But unfortunately, they did not provide KO and judge decision records, so we cannot add these to the TCC win-loss rankings yet. Despite that, here's the results for Show 1. We're going to have all these show results in our corner screen here, so keep an eye on that. The Colchester series, though, would start with... big surprise, Team Invade and Team Inferno standing tall as Ignition defeated Tectonic and Gabriel in a captain's melee to kick the weekend off, something that Extreme Robots would share on their YouTube channel. Things would then follow with the first of multiple meetings in the newfound Zadkiel and AfterShock rivalry, one where Zadkiel would pick up the win again as we move forward here. Team Inferno would continue to dominate the show with Eruption and Ripper going combined 3-0 in its build-up fights, while Dominant Up would help get Team Quake on the board once in this show with a surprise win over Sabertooth. And our finale gladiator fight for Show 1, we would see Gabriel and Tectonic chosen by captains to start this fight, while Eruption would be the late entering number 1. And just like Ignition, it would dominate its fellow captain robots in Gabriel and Tectonic once again as Eruption picks up its 3rd win in one show. So right there, 1 show up and Team Inferno was already dominating, with the team controlling the overall fight wins 4-2-1 and getting the first of 3 points available in the Extreme Robots season standings. A rough start, 5-1 for Team Inferno, with that 2nd show being later that day. On that 2nd show, Team Shock and Tectonic would shock Eruption for the 3rd time in as many months, giving that TCC number 10 ranked robot its 3rd loss on the year in the opening captain's melee, and this was set a competitive pace for the show as it was easily the closest team battle of the entire weekend. We saw another victory over Zadkiel against AfterShock, and each team had 2 wins heading into the final 2 fights of the show, with Ignition managing to defeat the veteran beast in the fight before last, solidifying Team Inferno with yet another gladiator advantage, as this time Eruption would enter the battle 2 minutes late to meet Tectonic and Ironaw 6, 2 incredibly tough challengers and 2 incredibly tough flippers from its past this year, as Team Invade would still manage to win that fight and win the show, going 4-2 overall with a pair of clutch wins to end that night. Once again, our Team Invade overlords dominate, going 4-1 at this show while the Extreme Robots standings continue, with Team Inferno now leading 6-1 now with 1 show left. Now, this 3rd and final team battle competition during Show 3 at Colchester, like I said, was a bit of a weird one, as the team battle took a bit of a backseat to the Extreme Robots Champions number 1 Contenders Tournament, leaving us with only 5 fights here to decide our 1 point, with the spinners kicking off the show this time, and Team Quake would draw first blood with AfterShock, finally managing to pick up a win over Zadkiel on the weekend after suffering 3 straight losses to it in a victorious melee, which also featured her friend Deadbod. After this, we'd see all three teams manage a point, with Iron Off 6 getting revenge on Ignition, Tectonic defeating Beast, and Eruption predictably trouncing mAlice, giving Team Inferno yet another gladiator advantage. As you guessed it, Eruption would show up 2 minutes in once again, this time taking care of Manta and Gabriel to extend their Extreme Robots lead to a shocking 7-1 to 1. I mean, literally, Team Quaker Divinity will need to win every single stop in the next 3 shows, the next 2 cities from this point forward, to even just tie with Team Inferno. I mean, it's been an honorable season for these 2 other teams, and seeing the Zadkiel and AfterShock rivalry blow up between Divinity and Quake has been exciting, especially with these 2 fighting one another 3 times over this weekend, all putting together some exciting matchups, one we've been sharing over here. But in the end of the day, the killer combo of Team Invade and Team Roaming Robots on Team Inferno was vicious and has led Team Inferno to Extreme Robots team dominance. I don't think they're going to be stopped. That 5K is pretty much in their pocket already. And speaking of dominance, we've saved perhaps the biggest part of the weekend for last here with the Colchester #1 Contenders Tournament and the Extreme Robots Championship fight, which ended the weekend. We have Tectonic, Troublemaker, Iron Off 6, Gabriel, Eruption, and Weird Malice all squaring off in a 2-round mini tournament, hoping to become the next Extreme Robots Championship contender. And we had some predictable winners, as Robots Livestoke winner Tectonic would stay hot, defeating Troublemaker and Iron Off 6, while Eruption would stay dominant, defeating Gabriel and Weird Malice. This would set up yet another match in what is also becoming a bit of a rivalry in Eruption versus Tectonic. We've seen Eruption dominate Tectonic at Robots Live Crawley in 2021 and for most of this Colchester Extreme Robots event, but what fans may remember more are Eruption's 3 only losses this entire year, which are all to Tectonic. We of course talked about it recently. We saw Tectonic defeat Eruption in a melee and a semifinals one-on-one at Robots Live Stalk. And earlier we mentioned how Tectonic was now also the first robot to put a blemish on Eruption's Extreme Robots record, giving us a reason to believe there may be a chance to see Tectonic pick up another win and #1 contendership here. But it just wouldn't happen, as Team Inferno and Team Invade dominance would continue, and Eruption would become the #1 contender to the Extreme Robots heavyweight title, set to fight for the strap at Guildford now. But here comes the big question now. Who will be facing Eruption at Guildford? We know the title will be staying with Inferno for the foreseeable future, probably going past Guildford with whichever robot ends up with this title. And you know, it's been a good run for the gold-plated flipper era of Ripper, but Extreme Robots would announce that we would have a new Extreme Robots heavyweight champion, our second in the lineage after this event, as Michael Oates' Ignition would outdrive John Finlay and Ripper, the teammate, dethroning the champion and becoming the second Extreme Robots heavyweight champion in the process. This does leave us in quite a bit of a dilemma though, as now Ignition is our Extreme Robots heavyweight champion, but Eruption, the sister robot or brother robot, whatever you want to call it, is our #1 contender. Extreme Robots organizer Chris Wilkins would say during the post-Colchester Reactivate episode that Michael Oates and Team Invade are currently sitting on top of the sport and may be the true heavyweight to beat in the world right now, certainly the true heavyweight team. And I mean, who could argue with that with what we've seen this year? Eruption has been nearly unstoppable aside from a few tough meetings with Tectonic. And Ignition is our new Extreme Robots heavyweight champion. So as we start wrapping things up here are some final notes about our big teams that were present at Extreme Robots Colchester here. Overall, we'd see Team Invade just go insane, putting together a combined 13-2 record with both Eruption and Ignition taking 1 loss each. Team Roaming Robots breaking even at 1-1 but losing the title belt. Team Saint putting up an improving performance from the Rough Robots Livestoke event but still finishing 2-4. The same win-loss average as Team Shock, who combined would go 4-8 during the weekend with their 3 robots. And we'd also see a disappointing couple of days for Team Iron Off also, going collectively 2-5 between Iron Off 5, 6, and 8. So that's 23 250-pound fights over 3 shows in Colchester, and Team Inferno has dominated the standings to nearly beyond repair levels. But to cap it off, it wasn't the only weight class to compete over the weekend. We also had some middleweight action in a pair of melees on the first 2 shows of the week. While these were not really the most action-packed, the middleweights in the UK still trying to gain their footing. We would see the robot Mungo dominate the week, going 2-0 with wins over its middleweight counterparts F7, Raphael, and Team Ironclad's Audacious. But there you go. That's everything we know about Extreme Robots Colchester. 3 shows up, 3 shows down, with 6 more shows over 2 cities to go. We'll likely have 2 more Extreme Robots title defenses before the year ends and the Extreme Robots season ends. But yeah, 6 for Team Inferno, 1 for Team Divinity, and 1 for Team Quake. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen with team changes, robot changes, and maybe some big names are going to come in. Maybe Monsoon or Omnis will join. Probably not, because they're going to have to deal with BattleBots. So who knows how this is going to go for the rest of the year. But I mean, unless we really see a miracle run come from Team Shock and Team Quake, or Team Saint with Team Divinity, I really don't think there's anything possible here. I mean, to go pretty much reverse sweep and win 2 straight events in a row, which is what Team Invade just did, I just don't see it with robots like Ignition and Eruption on that side. I mean, they have the title now, they have all the gold, they have all the power. They've taken a full death grip on the 2022 Extreme Robots season, and it seems pretty confident to say that those 5,000 pounds are going to be going to Team Inferno. So they best figure out how to split it now. A lot of it, of course, has to be going to Team Invade, but you also have some other exciting robots in that crew, like Ripper, like Weird mAlice, like Beast. So only time will tell on how that's going to end up working out. We know there is apparently going to be some situation addressed with Eruption and Ignition, both fighting for the title, likely in Guildford. And Guildford, of course, that's our next Extreme Robots stop. It's going to be happening a couple of days from when I'm doing this, about 10 days from when I'm recording this. It's going to be happening, I believe, in the 14th to 15th of October. So keep an eye on that. We're going to be doing a video on that in the next couple of months. And of course, another Robots Live video is also in the pipeline. The 2022 Crawley event just happened. We saw Eruption, Tectonic, Mega Mouse, Iron, all your regulars competing at that one. So we're also going to be talking about that video in the coming months as well. So definitely keep an eye out for that. Keep an eye out for BattleBots, and keep an eye out for everything the Combot Collective has to post as we wrap up this episode. I am your host, as always, Sterling Brown. You can find me on Instagram at SterlingTXTG, but you can also find the Combot Collective. That's what you really want right there on Instagram and Facebook in the description below. Please give us a follow, and please also join our Discord channel. I fixed the link. The dang thing broke again. They say it's permanent, but I digress. I guess it's not. The link is fixed. Please join our Discord channel. That's where all of our video news goes first. And please subscribe to our YouTube. Give us a like. Give us a comment. Ring the bell icon when you subscribe. Give us all your support. Give us all your constructive criticism on the channel. And let us know how you feel about the Extreme Robots season so far. Eruption's hot streak. Tectonic being one of the more surprising robots of the 2022 year. I mean, they're picking up some surprising wins. They've managed to get 3 W's over Eruption. Something no one else has done. I'd love to hear y'all's comments on that. But that's going to wrap it up here at the Combot Collective. Like I said, I'm Sterling Brown, and we will see you next time for more Robots Live, more BattleBots, more Extreme Robots, everything here. Stay tuned.
This was the Combot Collective. Find us on Instagram and Discord.
Everything here. Stay tuned.